I've read newspapers from the United States and the United Kingdom for a very long time to become familiar with sporting events that are not as widely covered or, to be honest, well covered in Indian newspapers. I decided to have a look at a newspaper from the United Kingdom, and the first thing I noticed, which I should talk about because I am a doctor registered with the General Medical Council of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, is that NHS England is going to be scrapped. Yes, you heard me right. NHS England is going to be scrapped. Let's explain it further. In a speech on Thursday, Prime Minister Keir Starmer made a surprise announcement that NHS England was to be scrapped. That definitely does not mean the abolition of Britain's National Health Service, which offers free healthcare to all funded through taxation and payroll deductions and is widely popular. It was once likened by a senior government minister to a national religion in the United Kingdom. What will go instead is one administrative level within the larger health system. NHS England was created in 2013. It is fairly recent. The agency works with the government to agree on funding and priorities for the health service, but it is separate from the health ministry called the Department of Health and Social Care. So there is a department in the government and there is NHS England. I suppose the argument is duplication of efforts. NHS England is an agency that employs around 15,300 people. How many of those jobs will be eliminated and how many will transfer to the Department of Health, which employs 3,300, is not clear at this moment. But the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, said in Parliament on Thursday that hundreds of millions of pounds a year would be saved and that he aimed to reduce the overall headcount by 50%. The government of the United Kingdom argues that having two separate structures which date from an ill fated reform of the health service in 2012-2013 is wasteful and means that some tasks are duplicated. There's the duplication argument. We've got a communications team in NHS England, we've got a communications team in the Health Department of Government. We've got a strategy team in NHS England, a strategy team in the Government Department, Mr. Starmer said on Thursday. We are duplicating things that could be done only once. Unraveling the current structure will not be quick, and the transition is expected to take about 2 years. Nor is the history of changing the health service a happy one. A former Conservative minister, Andrew Lansley, oversaw the creation of NHS England as part of an overhaul of the health service that was widely criticised and has been gradually undone. The announcement on Thursday is effectively the last nail in the coffin for the Lansley reforms. Mr. Starmer said that the changes would restore democratic control to the management of the health service and that savings and efficiencies made by scrapping NHS England would free up resources for patient care. After years of underfunding, the country's creaking, overstretched healthcare system badly needs investment. The waiting list for medical procedures currently exceeds 7 million. Is there a broader agenda in this situation? Yes. The government says it wants to slim the size of the state and deliver services more efficiently. It argues that the number of civil servants increased under the last government, run by the Conservatives, because of extra tasks needed during the COVID pandemic and as a result of Brexit. For some, the move has echoes of the cost cutting in the United States of America by Elon Musk's so called Department of Government Efficiency, or of the cutbacks implemented by Argentina's President Javier Milei. In Britain, a government linked think tank, Labour Together, has proposed plans to reshape the state. The project has been nicknamed by some outside the organisation as Project Chainsaw, but Downing Street this week rejected that characterization of its policies. Instead, Mr. Keir Starmer has talked about an agile and productive state. With resources scarce, public services overstretched, and the government under pressure to raise military spending, there is renewed pressure to find savings. That said, what's envisaged in Britain looks more like gentle pruning than the widespread lopping of jobs envisaged across the Atlantic in the United States of America. Cutting duplication in the delivery of the health service is unlikely to be too contentious with voters. And Mr. Starmer is a centre left leader who believes in the power of the state and who has spoken of the support his family received when he was young and his mother was ill. But the government is also planning broader changes to the welfare system to try to reduce the number who are of working age but outside the workforce, estimated to be around 11 million. That could mean reductions in welfare payments, including to disabled people, and some labor lawmakers are anxious about the potential impact. They worry about a repeat of the cuts that followed the financial crisis, which were introduced by the conservative led coalition government that came to power in 2010. That belt tightening led to stark reductions in public services. On Thursday, Mr. Starmer was at pains to stress that under his leadership there would be no return to austerity. So, bottom line, scrapping of NHS England does not mean National Health Service in the United Kingdom is being scrapped. It only means one level of administrative control called NHS England, which largely governs the investment into the NHS, is going to be scrapped, and it will be directly overseen by the Department of Health and Social Care of the Government of the United Kingdom.